In this video, we're going to look at how to name some basic lines, how to do reflections, and then also how to write rules for reflections that have already been done for us. So in this first sheet, we're taking a look at how to write a rule to describe each reflection. For question number 1 over here, what I've got is a shape KNML, and it looks like it's been reflected over this red line over here to give me K prime, N prime, M prime, L prime. So the first thing we need to do is come up with a name for this line over here. Well, let's start taking a look at some points on this line so that we can come up with a name for it. If I take a look at this point right over here, this is the point 0, 1. Let's just look at a couple other random points on this line. How about this point right over here? This is the point -2 in the x, 1 in the y. Don't forget, it's always x first, y second when I'm talking about my coordinates. So this is point -2, 1. Let's do 2 more. How about this point over here? This is the point 5, 1. And right over here, let's take a look at this point. This is the point -4, 1. So the one thing that I notice whenever I do this, when I'm looking at a line like this, is I'm looking for some sort of pattern. And the pattern that I notice is all of these y coordinates, they're all exactly the same. The y value here for every single coordinate is 1. So the name for this line is actually the line y equals 1. Now when we're trying to write a rule for the reflection, I'm going to say KNML was reflected over the line y equals 1. And that's it. Now, one important thing about this is I already had the line drawn in for you. If I wanted to find out where I'm supposed to put that line, what I would do is find that midpoint for each of these points, and that would give me my line. So K to K prime, it was 1, 2, 3, 4 hops away. They were a distance of 4 from each other. So that line is going to be right in the middle of that, and halfway between 4 is going to be 2. So I should have the same amount on this side as I have on that side, because reflection is you just go to your mirror and you go that same distance on the other side. Same thing for point L. I would count, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 from L to L prime. So I should be 4 to be in the exact middle of that. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. That brought us to our line over there. So let's take a look at a second example of this. I've got the quadrilateral, or this four-sided shape, called PQRS, and it's reflected over some line to get me the shape P prime, Q prime, R prime, S prime. To find that line that I'm reflecting in the middle, I'll just try to get that midpoint between my two, my pre-image and my image. So I'm going to go to, let's see, from Q to Q prime, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 between them. Halfway between 6 is going to be 3, so I'm going to go to that 3 point. And this is my line over here. Now, if I want to come up with a name for this line, I can do the exact same thing as before. I can take a look at a whole bunch of different points on this. So let's say this is -1, 0. This point over here is 0, 0. This point over here is 2, 0. The thing that keeps coming up is that my y coordinate is 0 every way. I can name this line the line y equals 0, or because it's right on my axis, the line y equals 0 is also called my x axis, whichever one you prefer. And when I'm going to write the rule, I'll say reflect over the x-axis, or if I wanted to, I could say, or the line y equals 0. Either name is correct for this line over here. All right, let's do one more with me talking, and then I'll just do the rest of these questions silently. Okay, so I've got my shape A, B, C, D, E, F, and it's been reflected over some line to give me A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, E prime, F prime. Let's count that distance between any 2 points. I'll do between F and F prime, and the distance is 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to make sure, I'll do a distance between C prime and C. So the distance here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The halfway point between this 6 is at the 3, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here should be 1 point on my line, and the half point between F and F prime, well, there's a distance of 4, it should be 2, so 1, 2, 1, 2. And look at that. Even though I used different points, I got my line right over here. So let's do one more to try and get the name of this line. Let's just plot some points on the line and see if we can figure out what the name of this line is. So I've got the point -1, -1, 0, the point -1, 4, -1, 4, the point -1, -3. Now here the case is my pattern is showing me my x is staying the same. So instead of saying y equals something, this time the name of this line is going to be x equals -1. And to write the rule of my reflection, I would just say reflected over x equals -1. All right, let's finish out the rest of this worksheet just in silence. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2, this is going to be my line of reflection, and this is the line y equals 4, because my y coordinate is the one that's not changing here. So I'll say reflected over y equals 4. And let's do these final 2 questions on this worksheet just to get it completely done. Here we go. All right. Here, it looks like I'm reflecting over this line, and this is the line y equals -2. So then I'll say reflected over y equals -2. And then finally, for this one, there's no distance between the two, so I can see the line right here. This is my line, and this is the line. All the x coordinates on this line are all the number 3, so this is the line x equals 3. And I'll just say reflected over x equals 3. All right, let's take a look now at the second example question type that we can see here. Now here, I've got a shape. It tells me the line that I want to reflect over, and then I just need to draw the reflection. So let's take a look. I want to reflect across the line y equals -1. The way I'm going to graph that line is if I plot my x, y points, I want my y to always be -1, and then I can just choose some random x's and I'll find the coordinates for my line. So what about 0, -1, 1, -1, and -3, -1. Let's plot some of those. 0, -1, 1, -1, -3, -1. Here is the line that I'm reflecting over. And once I've got the line that I'm reflecting over, I just count from my shape to that line and go the same distance on the other side. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and it'll be 1, 2, 3, and this is my point, P prime. I'll do the same thing for S, 3 to there, 3 more up. This is my point, S prime. Q, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 up, so then it's going to be 4 more up on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is Q prime, and R prime should go right over here to get my new figure. All right, let's do 2 more of these together before I send you guys on your way. So let's take a look at question number 2 here. I want to make a reflection across the line x equals 4. So in case you're not comfortable drawing these lines just by looking at the equation here, let's just plot out some points where my x-coordinate is always 4. I'll plot for 0, for -2, and for 3, just to get some different y values in there, see what it looks like. So I'm going to plot it at 4, 0, for -2, and for 3. Here's my line, x equals 4. And now I'm just going to reflect over that line of reflection that I drew. So it was 1 point away, 1 more point away, this will be A prime. B is 2 away, 1, 2. So I'll go 2 away on the other side, 1, 2. This is my point B prime. C is 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 4 away, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is C prime. And then D prime is 3 away, so I'll go 1, 1, 2, 3 away, and this will be D prime, and let me just connect A to D, A to B, D to C prime, and B prime to C prime. And this is my nicely reflected figure over the line, x equals 4. Now here is the final one. I'm going to skip all the way ahead to this question down here. I'm going to reflect this object across the line y equals -x. Well, let me think about that. If I've got the line, I've got my x and y coordinates. My y coordinate is equal to the negative of my x coordinate. So let's say my x coordinate was 1. That means my y coordinate is going to be, y is -x. So if my x was 1, y is going to have to be -1. If my x is 2, y is the negative of my x, so y is going to be -2. If x was, let's say, -3, well, -3 gives me +3. And let's see what this line looks like when I start plotting these points. So I've got the point 1, -1, 2, -2, and the point -3, right? -3, 3. Here's my line. I'm going to use a ruler for this one to draw it out. Here's the line of reflection for this question, more or less. Now, before, my line of reflection was just straight to the line and then that was it. Here I've got a diagonal line. There's just a little bit of a difference. Let's do this final example. So I've got point J. I'm still going to count my distance to the line. I can either count going across or count going down. It should not matter which way you choose first. I'm going to count going across with J. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I went 4 points before I hit that line. Now because it's a diagonal line, instead of just continuing that way, once I hit my diagonal line, I'm going to start moving in the opposite direction. So I went to the left before, now I'm going to go, I was going left to right before, and I'm going to go up to down. So I went 4 left, I'm now going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 down. This is my point, J prime. Now if I want, I could start by going down instead of left. So I'll do that with point L to get L prime. I'm gonna go down 1, 2, 3, 4. If I started by going down, this time now I'm gonna go across instead. So as 4 down, I'm gonna go 4 across to finish this reflection. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the point L prime. And let's just finish up this shape. K, I'm gonna go 1, 2 over, so now it's gonna be 1, 2 down. This is the point K prime, and M is gonna be pretty far. I'm gonna go, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 down, which means I'm gonna go 8 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here's my point M prime. And now let's just let's just draw out the rest of the figure. I've got J to M, J to K, K to L, and L to M. And you can see I've got my new figure that's been reflected over the line, y equals negative x.